The bank called me and said something that froze my blood. I don't think that's you. Your husband is here right now with a woman who looks just like you. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I laughed because my mind refused the idea. I said that's impossible. He's on a business trip. The voice on the phone went quiet. Then she said, please come in right away. I remember the sound around me. The low hum of the office lights. The distant ringing of another phone. My coffee turning cold in my hand. My name is Laura. I am 39 years old. I have been married to Mark for 12 years. I trusted him. I built my life around that trust. Mark travels often. Finance conferences, client meetings, late dinners. I never questioned it. I was proud of him. Proud of us. As I grabbed my coat, my hands were shaking. I told myself the bank made a mistake. People look alike all the time. But deep down something felt wrong. Something heavy settled in my chest. The drive to the bank felt endless. Every red light felt personal. Every second stretched. I kept replaying the call in my head. With a woman who looks just like you. I parked and sat there. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it. I whispered to myself, you are overreacting. You are fine. This is nothing. But my legs felt weak when I stood up. The glass doors opened with a soft hiss. Cool air hit my face. The bank smelled like paper and metal.
Familiar.
Safe. Until it wasn't. The teller from the phone call saw me. Her smile vanished. She stood up slowly. She said, thank you for coming so fast. I asked, where is he? She hesitated, then pointed toward the private offices. My stomach dropped. Every step echoed. My heels sounded too loud. I could hear my own breathing, fast and uneven. When I reached the door, I heard his laugh. Mark's laugh, warm and familiar. It cut deeper than any knife. I pushed the door open, and there he was, my husband, sitting comfortably, smiling, holding hands with a woman. She wore her hair like mine. She had my posture, my smile, my face. Not identical, but close enough to make my skin crawl. Mark looked up, his face drained of color. He stood so fast his chair fell back. Laura, what are you doing here? I couldn't speak at first. My throat burned. I finally said, the bank called me. He looked at the teller, then back at me. The woman beside him squeezed his hand. She looked calm, almost confident. She looked at me and smiled.
She said hi.
The word felt like an insult. I asked Mark, who is she? He swallowed hard. This is Emily, my consultant. I laughed. It came out sharp and ugly. A consultant who holds your hand. Emily tilted her head. She said, you must be the wife. The way she said it, past tense, like I was already gone. I looked at her, then at Mark. I said, you told me you were in Chicago. He didn't answer. Silence filled the room. The teller quietly closed the door. I felt dizzy. I grabbed the edge of the desk. I said, why are you here? At our bank. With her. Mark rubbed his face. He said, I can explain. I said, you better start. Emily stood up. She smoothed her dress. She said, Mark didn't want you to find out like this.
Her.
Find out what? She looked at Mark, then back at me. She said, about us. The word us echoed. My ears rang. I looked at my husband. My voice shook. I said, how long? He whispered, 6 months. 6 months. Of lies. Of shared dinners.
Of kisses goodbye.
Of I love you texts. I felt something break inside me. I wanted to scream, but instead I smiled. A slow, calm smile. I said, why the bank? Why now? Emily answered. She said, we were opening a joint account. For our future. Something snapped into place. The resemblance. The confidence. She wasn't just his affair. She was my replacement. Mark reached for me. I stepped back.
Don't touch me.
People were watching now. Through the glass walls. Whispers. Stares. I said, congratulations. I hope she enjoys my life. Then I walked out. The sun felt too bright. The world too loud. I sat in my car and cried. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just silent tears. That night Mark didn't come home. He sent one message. We need to talk.
I didn't reply.
Instead, I opened my laptop. I logged into everything. He never changed the passwords. Because he never thought I'd need to. I saw the transfers. Large amounts. Moved slowly.
Carefully.
Into accounts I didn't recognize. Our money. My money. I called my lawyer. An old college friend. I said I need you.
Now.
Over the next few days, I learned everything. Emily wasn't a consultant. She was a long-term plan. They were moving money. Preparing to disappear. Leaving me with nothing. But Mark made one mistake. The bank account, the one they opened together, was still connected to our primary assets. Because legally, everything was still in my name. The house, the investments, the business shares. I waited. I didn't confront him. I let him think I was broken, confused, still in shock. A week later, he came home. He looked tired. Guilty. He said we should talk. I said I agree. I made dinner. His favorite meal. He relaxed. He thought he had won.
He said Emily understands.
She doesn't want to hurt you. I smiled. That was kind of her. The next morning, I went to the bank. The same teller greeted me. She looked nervous. I said it's okay. I need to make some changes. By noon, everything was done. Every account frozen. Every asset secured. Transferred. Protected. By the time Mark realized, it was too late. He called me, shouting, "What did you do?" I said I protected myself. He said Emily can't access anything. I said that's strange. He said you ruined everything. I laughed. I said you already did that. That evening I received a call. From the same bank. The teller said your husband is here.
Again.
He looks upset. I said, let him wait. Tell him he'll be there. I arrived slowly.
Calm.
When I walked in, Mark rushed toward me. Security stopped him. Emily stood behind him. Her face pale. Her confidence gone. Mark said, fix this. I said no. Emily stepped forward. She said you can't do this. I looked at her. I said, I already did. I leaned closer. I said he didn't choose you. He chose my money. And now he has neither. Mark fell silent. I turned to leave. The teller caught my eye. She smiled. As I walked out, I felt lighter. Weeks later, the divorce was final. Mark got nothing. Emily disappeared. I heard she left him. Turns out she didn't like the version of him without my life attached. I moved on. New city. New start. Sometimes I think about that call. I don't think that's you. They were right. The woman who walked into that bank was not the same woman who walked out. Because the day my husband tried to replace me was the day I finally chose myself. The bank thought someone stole my identity, but it was my husband trying to steal my life.